there. Welcome to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network. Donald Eng is over there. I'm Rob Adams. Happy Tuesday to you. The snow beginning to fall, not sticking as of yet, but that being said, sad face. We don't have girls basketball to bring you tonight. The games have been postponed in the FCIAC. Don, I respect those who make those decisions. It's not easy to make them. I do wonder if there was a little bit of an overreaction or a panic to the weather that's coming in today.
Yeah, it seems like the weather is going to hit hardest in the interior portions of the state as far as like the snow accumulation and ice potentially. Really, most likely just rain, but the problem is you're just right on the border of rain versus sleet. A 2-degree difference could mean the difference between an easy drive home for everybody and really dangerous. So they're going to err on the side of caution. That's just the way it is, and we move on. By the way, the opening is still not old. One more time, I'm thinking.
Yes. Absolutely.
I think it's good for one more.
Oh, yeah. We're just going to keep going with it. So anyway, yes, the bad news is no games for us tonight, and I was looking forward to those games. I really was. I think the girls' basketball games have a chance to be very competitive. I think both games have a chance to be really good. Yes, I think Ward is probably the best team, but I wonder about Stanford. Ridgefield definitely has some noise in them as well, and Trumbull's really good. So what I'm saying is there are 4 good basketball teams, and I think that really would have made for a great setup. As of right now, though, unfortunately, it means that it messes with our schedule because we will have conflicting games tomorrow night, meaning that we'll be at girls ice hockey for those 2 matchups with the girls basketball games falling by the wayside. We will have the championship game, though, now moved to Friday night. So we'll have Thursday night off now, but not Friday night. I was disappointed. I'll go on record. I said to A.J. Simonowski yesterday, I said to him, I don't see where they cancel these games or postpone them in this case. I don't see where they'll postpone them because I didn't think the weather forecast was supposed to be that bad, and it will create chaos for us as broadcasters, and, well, here we are.
Right. Well, and then the issue is that 2 of the schools, Stanford and Ridgefield, have early dismissal today. They've gone ahead and made the call to dismiss early. I
totally agree.
When that happens, then they have to cancel the extracurriculars and after-school activities. So the revised schedule, Wednesday at Ludlow, Stanford versus Trumbull at 6, Ward versus Ridgefield at 7:30, and then the finals Friday night at Ludlow, 7 p.m., matching the 2 winners. It's still going to be exciting. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to bring the semis to the fans at home, but an exciting showdown on Friday.
Looking forward to that. Bottom line is we'll still have the championship games, but, for someone who just loves to be a completist and call as many games as we can, we're going to lose 2, and that's disappointing to me. So that is the way it goes. Hockey games tomorrow. Then, as I said, Thursday now clear due to no basketball game. The basketball game will now be Friday, and then the hockey tripleheader will be on Saturday. So certainly disappointed, but again, so it goes.
And so it goes. I'm not going to sing I'm not going to channel my inner Billy Joel.
Yeah, but riding along with Paul Silverfarb in a car the other day, I got the chance to channel plenty of Billy Joel. So I'm more than okay on the Billy Joel topic, having been a fan for a long time. Anyway, happy to have you along here on the show. I hate to say that there's such a thing as the nutmeg jinx, but we had Jimmer DeVito on the show yesterday, and the Black Knights did not go out and play particularly well against Fairfield Ludlow last night in boys basketball.
Yeah, I said he's got to re-earn that Jimmer moniker now. We might call him Adam Morrison DeVito.
Not very good, but look, the Falcons needed that game much more than the Black Knights did.
Right.
So it kind of changes things a little bit. It helps the Falcons for sure, but the Black Knights did not play very well. So good win for Fairfield Ludlow to help them in terms of the FCIAC and in terms of the state as well. So that's a good thing, but I don't want people saying I'm not going to go on that show now. I don't want to be a jinx, Don.
Well, you want to win every game, but as we were saying yesterday, Stanford was not technically locked into that number 3 seed, but realistically they were. They possibly could have overtaken and gotten second, but would have made very little difference because 2 plays 3 anyway in the semis. So this was a case of the team that needed to win to get in beat the team that essentially couldn't really help themselves with a win. You want to win every game, but when a team that needs to win, more often than not, is going to be the team that wants to win.
We are very pleased to bring you, by the way, the names of the All-FCIAC girls basketball team. It will be released online in just a few minutes at fciac.net. But we have the names right in front of us, and I'm excited to tell you who those players are. Don, shall we run through them?
Let's go. We'll start with the girls' first team. Tiana England of senior out of Stamford. Rebecca Lawrence, Ridgefield senior. Shania Osborne, Ward junior. Abby Wolf, Greenwich senior. Claudia Tucci, a Trumbull junior. Ileana Krasnicki, a Ward junior. Jess Camarda, a Ridgefield senior. Alexa Kellner, sophomore out of Stamford. Norwalk junior Asia Knight, and Coach of the Year, Steve Tobish of Trumbull. Congratulations.
I don't think there is a single surprise in that group. They have all been outstanding this year. Maybe you can quarrel if you want on Coach of the Year, but Steve Tobich has been on this show, so that gives him the edge for as far as I'm concerned.
What curse?
That's right, there is no curse. But, in all seriousness, Tiana England has been amazing this year, as has Abby Wolf, at times almost single-handedly leading the Greenwich Cardinals. We've seen Shania Osborne in person. She can take over games. Same for Rebecca Lawrence. And all the same things can be said about Ileana Krasnicki, Jess Camarda, Alexa Kellner, and Isaiah Knight as well. They are all really good. They all deserve to be first-team players.
Yeah, I mean, they've all had outstanding years, particularly, Trumbull coached his team to an outstanding year. And yeah, as you said, no real surprises, well-deserved all.
Let's go over to the second team now, where Alex McKinnon of Ludlow will lead things off, the senior from there. Deja Polk might have been the one player that I'm inclined to say, and there are actually a couple of players on the second team that I'm inclined to say maybe they could have been first teams. Deja Polk is one of them. Jackie Josephek of St. Joseph is another one, as well as Aaron Krajewski from Darien. Alyssa Brunig, that is, of Trumbull, as well as Caroline Beneville of Greenwich, Karen Brosco of Wilton, and Campbell Armstrong of New Canaan, all deserving in the status that they've received here. But I saw Deja Polk in person a couple of times, as well as Jackie Josephek, both really good players. That could not have been easy for those doing the voting to put both of them on the second team.
Right. I mean, you don't know the criteria they use to kind of split and delineate one from another. Obviously, when you're talking first or second team, you're talking about good players all around. And certainly, you could make a case for quite a few of them, quite a few of the second team players. You could make a case for first team, but then again, you look at the first team, and they all belong too. So it's tough. As you said, I don't really envy those that have to make that split.
No, not at all. Let's go over to the third team now. Don, I'll throw it to you.
It is Ward Senior Sarah Cotto on the third team, Greenwich Junior Emily Anderson, Trumbull Junior Taylor Brown, Norwalk Junior Jackie Harris, West Hill Junior Olivia Wise, Ridgefield Junior Megan O'Hara, Ludlow Senior Regan Steed, and Danbury Junior Zoe Coleman make up your FCIAC third team.
Sarah Cotto got injured the other night for Fairfield Ward. Her status hopeful to make it back for the FCIAC playoffs, for the FCIAC semis and finals, that is. But what you're seeing there on that third team is the amount of juniors that will step up next year and likely dominate this conference.
And you're also seeing, again, as you can see, the continuity of some of these programs, like Fairfield Ward with 2 first team, 1 second, 1 third team. So these teams become programs as girls come up through the youth system and through freshman and junior varsity basketball. These programs just kind of continue to sustain themselves.
They do, and it's going to set up for a whole lot of fun as we move into the balance of this playoffs. Of course, we'll keep an eye on the semifinals and, of course, the championship itself on Friday. Let's look at the honorable mentions now. And there are a bunch of names from Central. It's Tatiana Pinto and Timia Graham. From Danbury, it's Emily Broggie and Rebecca Cohn. Darien, Katie Ramsey, as well as Christine Fiore. From Greenwich, it's Kim Kokenmeister and Shay Galetta. From Ludlow, Peyton Brown, and Julia Pangallo. Ward, Leah Markovic and Olivia Parisi. McMahon is Asia Andrews and Michelle Perea. And from New Canaan, Kylie Murphy and Olivia Hunzinger. Tatiana Arias and Asia Vega from Norwalk. Norwalk, Elizabeth Middlebrook, and Julia Middlebrook, both from Ridgefield. Don, you want to pick it up from St. Joseph? It's all yours.
We'll start with St. Joseph. Megan Robertson and Ashley Lynch. From Stamford, we have Mackenzie Brown and Andrea O'Connor. Staples is Alyssa Perry and Talia Hendel. From Trinity Catholic, it is Kayla Cheatham and Jazz Manolius. From Trumbull, Nina Vetter and Victoria Ray. From West Hill, Elizabeth Grasso and Gabby Lacona. And finally, from Wilton High School, Taylor Ingerman and Hannah Previtt.
So congratulations to one and all, no matter what team you're on. A lot of good players to be found in the FCIAC this year in girls basketball. And oh, by the way, snow expected to be a little more dominant around 3 o'clock now. The roads are wet right now. In fact, I drove here in some of it, and it was snowing as we started the show. It is currently not doing anything outside, but they erred on the side of caution, Don, and I guess that's what it comes down to.
They're always going to because you know, you just when you're talking about safety, particularly with kids, school buses on the road, they're going to be very risk averse, as well they should be. I mean, you know, it's one thing for us to say, well, you know, I can make it there, but then again, there's no consequences for me if there's a traffic accident. So that's the route they're going to go. You know, we can always second guess, but the games are going to be played, so they'll just be played a day later. It is unfortunate we miss a couple of broadcasts.
So we will have the boys basketball poll. We also have to catch up with some other things going on around the region, and we will do all that and more. Just getting it started. We got some time to play with. So stick around with us. Nutmeg Sports off and running for a Tuesday right here on the HAN Network.
Here at the Darien Sports Shop, we are very excited about our newly redesigned men's department. Gentlemen, if you're shopping for work, weekend, or wedding, we've got the latest styles and trends inside our spacious new department just for you. We have vast selections from Peter Millar, Vineyard Vines, Johnny O, Duckhead, Barber, and so much more. And you can even walk out of the store in the new Wolverine 1,000-mile men's boot. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
While there's still a bite out on the water, most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Join us for Coffee Break, weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN Network.
The 2016 FCIAC playoffs are coming to the HAN Network. We'll have all of the big games beginning February 23rd on the court and on the ice. And we'll have it all live and streaming HD. This is your home for the 2016 FCIAC Winter Championships. The HAN Network.
Thanks for stopping by here on Nutmeg Sports with Donald Eng. I'm
Hey there.
Rob Adams. Hey there. Well, how are you?
Good, doing good.
All right, we're hanging in there for a Tuesday edition. We have polls to get into. And, you know, before we get to that, we seem to have this situation going on, Don, around the area. You know, it happened in Stratford and now in Fairfield at Notre Dame of Fairfield, where it seems like almost like the inmates are running the asylum. The latest seems to be the question of the head coaching status of Vin Leskowski, who's been at Notre Dame of Fairfield for a little while. You know, he always has a good program there. Coaches are not always meant to be these lovable people. Whether they're female or male at this point, it doesn't matter. They're not there to be lovable. They're there to guide your kids. They're there to make them better people and hopefully make them good athletes in the process. And it seems like, once again, that's getting confused with Coach Laskowski. Now, I'm not trying to defend him or attack him. I'm just saying these are the facts of what a coach should be.
Right. I mean, and it brings up the question, could Bear Bryant, could Bob Knight coach today? Certainly,
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure they could either. And I'm not sure that that's necessarily good or bad. Coaching is different. Now, I should preface that by saying I'm not entirely ssure what the facts are as far as the Laskowski case comes from. It seems to be that people, just from people online, have been saying that it looks like someone went to the administration, but with these things it's very hard to say because it's a personnel issue. You never really know exactly what happened, unfortunately, which means that there's rumor and innuendo.
Yeah, and it just seems to happen more and more where coaches are not meant to be warm and fuzzy. There are coaches who are players' friends, for sure, and that happens. Every coach becomes somebody's friend. But in the process, it becomes, you're not playing my little Johnny enough time. I put him in all these AAU programs, and he's not getting enough minutes. And all it takes is that one seed to create trouble. And again, coach could be, and I'm not saying about Coach Laskowski, I'm talking in general. A coach can be wrong. But more often than not, it seems like the parents have the axe to grind, and even more often, it has to do with playing time and things like that, or they said something that they shouldn't have said.
Right. Well, I mean, that could be the case. And by and large, the thing is, when you have to consider, especially at the high school level, these guys aren't really making a lot of money. If they're coaching, they're in coaching because they want to help kids develop as far as develop their skills and potentially develop as people also. So we tend to give them the benefit of the doubt because of that, because it's a tough job. There's a lot of it's a large time commitment for not very much money. You just kind of hope that that if the school made a decision, you hope it was done for the right reasons.
With all that said, to the boys basketball poll we go, and starting with Donald Eng at number 10.
Donald Eng at number 10.
Well, you're always number 1 to me, but in this case, you're going to read number 10.
We're going to start off out of the FCIAC, Danbury High School, with a record of 16-2, entering the polls. Not ranked last week, Danbury at number 10 defeated Ridgefield and Fairfield Ludlow last week.
All right, on to number 9. Number 9, East Catholic defeated Northwest Catholic 70-64. They also defeated Glastonbury, gave them a good pasting, 68-40. Joey Riley had 25 in the win over NWC. On to number 8.
Middletown High School 16-2 defeated New Britain and Maloney last week. Middletown holds their spot at number 8.
On to number 7. It's Wilbur Cross. They defeated Career and also knocked off Xavier in double overtime by 66-63. Robert Durant 25-15 over Xavier. To number 6 we go.
At number 6 is Fairfield Prep, holding their spot at number 6. Defeated Xavier in double overtime last week and beat up on Career 71-30. The Jesuits are the number 2 seed in the SCC tournament that begins Thursday.
Moving on to number 5, it's Hill House at 17-2. They moved down a spot from number 4 as they defeated Hand and Cheshire last week, but the Academics won outright or a share of all 21 SCC Hammonasset Division titles, losing just 8 games. To number 4.
A remarkable record of consistency out of Hill House. Number 4, the Beavers of Weaver High School beat Glastonbury and Northwest Catholic and Farmington 102-32 last week. Weaver moves up a spot from number 5 to number 4.
Okay, this is an inside joke, but no rumor to the fact that that game was on the HAN network. You're home for blowout, 70-point win. My goodness, I broadcast those kind of games. Those are not fun. We get from the Weaver Beavers, we move up to Newington at number 3. They stay at number 3, defeating E.O. Smith and New Britain. Jared Simmons in 25 points in the victory over New Britain. On to number 2.
Windsor High School, number 2, with a record of 19-0. Last week beat Bristol Central and Avon. last week. So Windsor remains number 2.
And staying at number 1, of course, Sacred Heart, who knocked off Holy Cross 101-66, and they have clinched the top seed in the NVL tournament beginning Saturday. You know, I was watching video of the Hearts the other day. They're rock stars.
They are really good.
I mean, Mustafa Heron himself is a rock star. He's signing autographs all the time. I can still tell you, and I don't get giddy very often, but I remember feeling how cool it was that he came up and visited us at the Webster Bank Arena booth as a junior, just to come up and say hello and let us interview him. I mean, they're a big-time basketball team.
And they are, and in Class M, it's really hard to see anyone beating them or really even making them sweat too much. I mean, that combination of the size on that team and the skill players, the perimeter, the inside post play, it's Sacred Heart is, I don't know if they're the best high school team I've ever seen in Connecticut, but they're close.
That's a good question. I have to admit, that's a really good question. They are among the best teams I ever saw.
Right. Some of those St. Joe's teams I would put up there. Of course, some of the Charlie Bentley Harding teams probably merit discussion in there. I don't really go back far enough to know about like some of the like the John Bagley, Charles Smith teams.
Right.
But yeah, and some of those Colby Cathedral teams were excellent. But wow, Sacred Heart is good.
Not to think we have forgotten the ladies, because we didn't do it on yesterday's show. Let's do a quick run-through of the Game Time Top 10 for girls basketball. I'll get things started. When Don's ready, I'll throw it over to him. Number 10 is Enfield. Number 9 is South Windsor. They were not ranked last week. Number 8, the Stanford Black Knights, having knocked off both Trumbull and Wilton. Of course, Wilton in the FCIAC playoffs. They move up a notch from number 9 to number 8 to number 7. Don.
To number 7 out of the FCIAC, Fairfield Ward with a record of 19-2 holds on at number 7. They beat St. Joseph, Staples, and Norwalk last week. And of course, they will play Ridgefield in the league semifinals tomorrow.
Sitting at number 6 and staying at number 6 is Norwich Free Academy, 18-3 on the year for the Bobcats. Let's move to number 5.
New Fairfield holds on at number 5. They beat Notre Dame of Fairfield and Bethel last week. They will play Colby Cathedral in the SWC tournament.
Staying put at number 4 is Cromwell. The Panthers have a date with Coggeshall in the Shoreline Conference Tournament semifinals, weather permitting. They defeated Morgan and North Branford on to number 3.
21-0 New London beat Ledyard 63-22 and East Lyme 61-45 last week. They will play Waterford in the ECC tournament.
Numbers 2 and 1 will be no shock. I'll leave number 1 for Don, but for me, number 2 is the Mercy Tigers. They play career in the SCC tournament semifinals last night. Mercy and the Panthers have combined to win the last 4 league titles. They defeated Laurelton Hall and Hamden last week. To number 1, no shock.
No surprise. They've been there all year. Capital Prep remains number 1. They blew out Parish Hill last week, 82-23. The Trailblazers will next face Prince Tech in the CSC tournament semis, scheduled for tonight, now uncertainly postponed.
Staying in basketball, you know, all over Twitter, and thanks to our folks here, the other guys who cover sports here in Connecticut, so many of them are such good guys. We have a lot of fun with them, and they often say hashtag tweet your buzzer beaters. We've got a couple for you right here. A little fun here, a little video. First one, courtesy of the Rudin Report, as we take a look at Jack Moore of Ridgefield. That is what we call excitement on your iPhone.
on the iPhone, horizontal. No, sorry.
Please shoot horizontally this way. But anyway, with all that being said, Jack Moore gave the Tigers the lead. But wait, as we say with a Gunzu knife, there's more. So there
How many buzzer beaters you get?
Chase Levesque with the tying the game at the buzzer to force overtime. I mean, hey, tweet your buzzer beaters.
Isn't that great? You know, it's nothing like high school sports. And hey, speaking of which, speaking of excitement, how about that game out of Bridgeport last night? 118-112 with Bassick defeating Harding in overtime. Was that 230 points in a boys basketball game? Boy, and no shot clock. So,
bottom line is, Don, that's a lot. See how I'm shooting Don right here? This is how we shoot it. like this. Hello, Eric Gendron and Kate Chaplinski. With all that said, we will take a break here on Nutmeg Sports, shooting video and continuing right after this on the HAN Network.
Denali is your outdoor retail destination in the Westfield Trumbull Mall. For the last 21 years, we have carefully selected clothing, footwear, and gear from a variety of the best outdoor brands, such as the North Face, Patagonia, Vineyard Vines, UGG, Merrell, GoPro, New Balance, and many more. Our stores have a friendly, knowledgeable staff to help you with all of your running, hiking, and cold weather needs, and in discovering all things outdoorsy and awesome. Visit us in the Westfield Trumbull Mall or online at denalioutdoor.com.
When you experience a sports injury, you want to get better and fast. Coastal Ortho Express gives you direct access to orthopedic care quickly. Their physicians are fellowship trained in sports medicine at world-class universities and are also team doctors for area football teams. For specialized personal care of sports injuries, go to Coastal Ortho Express, open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building, 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or coastalorthoexpress.com. Coastal Orthopedics, keeping you on the move.
Do you do a lot of running around but get nowhere when you're buying a car? Visit Pamby Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram for the one-stop buying experience and stop spinning your wheels.
It's the new year. The to-do list is long and it's easy to feel pulled in many directions at once. Your professional, personal shoppers at Walter Stewart's are ready to check groceries off your list by shopping for you. Save extra time this year and spend it doing more important things. Great food and wine delivered to your home with the same-day service. Shop Stewart's online at stewartsmarket.com.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter, and I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN Network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 500,000 viewers enjoyed our broadcasts in the first 5 months. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Hey there, welcome back to Nutmeg Sports. It's the Tuesday edition here on the HAM Network. By the way, Sean Saylor also tweeted a buzzer beater. However, it's not on YouTube, so we got to connect Sean with our YouTube account. He'll put him up there, and then we can show him right here on Nutmeg Sports. So we'll do that in the future. But Sean had one. Cole Prowett-Smith hit one.
I did, and outstanding.
Always good. Always good from Sean. He was supposed to see us tonight, but we'll see him down the road with, again, our broadcast postponed for today thanks to the lack thereof of weather. If you could see outside right now, the roads are just wet. But they are expecting bad weather later on today. Whoever mythologically they are, but so it goes.
Yeah, they're usually right.
Yeah, they are usually right.
You know what they say.
All that being said, no basketball games for us later on, so we'll have hockey, girls hockey later tomorrow. We will be Thursday, and we will get the great Sean Saylor back with us on Friday for the girls basketball championship back at Fairfield Ludlow. So all that said, we've got some other stuff to do, Don.
We do. First off, we can run down. We do have the Southern Connecticut Conference actually has released their pairings for the for their boys basketball tournaments starting Thursday at the higher seeds. Hillhouse and Fairfield Prep have byes, and then the rest of the schedule. Shelton at Wilbur Cross, Guilford at Notre Dame, North Haven at Amity, Brantford at Xavier, Lyman Hall at Hamden, Cheshire at Hand. All of those games at the higher seeds. All of them start at 6:30. Right. And then in the quarters, these will all be at Brantford High School on Saturday. The Hand Cheshire winner versus Hillhouse, the Notre Dame Guilford winner versus Amity North Haven, Hamden Lyman Hall versus Fairfield Prep, and Wilbur Cross Shelton versus Brantford Xavier. So all those games Saturday, and then obviously the semis on Monday, and the championship game Wednesday, next week, Wednesday, March 2nd at Shelton.
Before we turn our attention to hockey, I should mention the All-FCIAC girls basketball team that we mentioned should now be up and online at fciac.net, so you want to make sure you check that out. But there was one fairly minimal game in boys hockey last night in the region.
Was that New Canaan, right? Wasn't that?
A matter of Tiger comeback, maybe against Fairfield Prep.
I never liked you.
Don does not like me anymore.
Oh, no, that's not what I said.
What happened with Fairfield Prep blowing a 3-goal lead?
I think you forgot to mention 2 goals in the last minute 40 against Richfield to send the game into overtime.
A matter of
It's a combination of youth. You know, the team has the team struggled early on, found their stride a little bit. Had trouble closing out the last 2 games. Actually, there was the win over Notre Dame and then the tie against Ridgefield. Is all hope lost for the season? Probably, but they'll but. You trust in Coach Sather, and I'm sure it'll take one strong performance. I'm pretty good at jumping onto moving bandwagons.
For Fairfield Prep, they're 7-8-2 on the year. Ridgefield now 9-8-2. Ridgefield certainly helps themselves in terms of the state playoffs heading off to Division I, and Fairfield Prep as well. I mean, Prep is still Prep. I still have a hard time ruling out the evil empire.
You really can't. I mean, with a record of 7-8-1, that's including about 6 games against top-ranked out-of-state teams. They're still ranked number 4 in the state. Xavier, by the way, taking over the top spot in the current poll for the first time in school history on the strength of wins over New Canaan and West Haven last week. And we do get to see Xavier and the aforementioned Fairfield Prep close out the SCC season on Monday.
Yes, we do, and we will look forward to all of that. Xavier, as you mentioned, from CTHS Hockey Scores. Fairfield Prep at number 5, Notre Dame of West Haven 4, Greenwich 3, Darien 2, and Xavier 1. Those for the week of February 21st to 27th. And look, I will say this as I read those rankings. I know Greenwich beat Darien, and I love you down in Greenwich. You know I do. I have a hard time still believing that Darien isn't a better team. I'm sorry. I know that's going to it's going to rattle some cages down in Greenwich, but I have to see it. I have to see Greenwich really beat Darien when it's on the line.
Right. Well, CTHS Hockey agrees with you, ranking Darien number 2 over number 3 Greenwich, and then West Haven and Notre Dame, West Haven, and Fairfield Prep rounding out the top 5 in Division 1 in the weekly power rankings. So
to Division 2, it's Guilford, North Branford, number 4, number 3 South Windsor, Conard, and Fairfield rounding out the top 5. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that Fairfield Co-op has put together a very nice year. I'm curious to see how they do in Division II playoffs. My guess is they'll do pretty well. North Haven, Hand, and E.O. Smith-Tolland, sort of bubble teams on the periphery of the top 5.
In Division 3, it's Lyman Hall, then Haddam Killingworth, as well as Coggenshaw, Woodstock Academy, Stamford number 3, Staples, and NFI, New Fairfield Immaculate, rounding out the top 5 in D3.
Yeah, I don't know too much about most of those teams other than the 2 FCIAC schools, but as always, we see how it comes come tournament time, and does it pay off? Do the FCIAC teams in that Division 3, do they reap the benefit of playing some of these upper level Division 1 teams that they've played all year? And granted, they typically lose to these teams, but the experience of playing against a high quality opponent, does it pay off come playoff time?
So again, as we wrap up the show, let me reaffirm what I just said. No games tonight. We've all got the night off. Tomorrow, we will have doubleheader action in girls ice hockey, but we will keep a very firm eye on the girls basketball situation as well. We just can't get to everything with the doubleheader action in the semifinals. Would love to, but we're going to stick with girls ice hockey. Girls basketball, we'll keep an eye on that as well. Thursday night, everybody gets the night off. Friday, we will have the girls basketball championship, and then Saturday, the big triple header beginning with the girls ice hockey championship at 12:50, followed by the 2 quarterfinal games. So still busy week coming up.
As we said, stockpile those root beer barrels.
Oh, I've got them with me. Not a problem. What happened with Ridgefield and Fairfield Prep?
Yeah, still hostile. The hostility is still here.
Still don't like me, right?
No. I'll stick with that answer.
Okay. Yeah. A little bummed, but I still like you, Don. Well, with all that said, I'm going to sadly say that'll do it for Nutmeg Sports. Thanks for joining us for a Tuesday edition. Don is so angry at me, he will not be back with us tomorrow. Dave Stewart will be standing over there in that case as we get ready to move down to Darien and go visit the girls' hockey semifinals. Thanks to Eric Gendron for directing and AJ Simonowski for just walking through and doing his thing. For all of us here at the HAN Network, Coffee Break starts your day tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock with Kate Czaplinski. I'm Rob Adams. Enjoy your night. See you tomorrow right here on the HAN Network. Thanks for watching Nutmeg Sports. So long, everyone.